Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Happy days. Mhm.
Hey, everybody, and happy day number 3. As you come on, um, as always, please do say hi and where you're tuning in from in the comments below. We have a meaty training today. We actually have a little bit to touch on from day number 2, just kind of rounding out the aspect of your marketing plan, kind of getting that all organized. But today, we're actually going to be teaching you all about what steps need to be taken to organize your entire business from top to bottom. So again, as you come on, say hi and where you're coming in from. Also, drop a Y or a yes, or an N or a no if you did or did not do your CEO schedule. So Y or yes, or N or no if you did or did not do your CEO schedule. So I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Awesome. And if you haven't, that's completely okay. But I know for certain, if you got your CEO schedule done and in place, it's going to make you feel so much better about everything that you're doing. So for those that did do your CEO schedule, drop into the chat, how did it feel by the end of creating that CEO schedule? How did it feel to have it done, have it outlined, and have specific parameters about when you are and are not working? Empowering. Yeah, absolutely. Like, people don't realize how important it is. Relieving. Yeah. To have a CEO schedule, because all of you are the CEOs of your business. But again, if you don't have guidelines for yourself, again, you don't have guidelines for your business. And that is the whole concept of what we're going to be going over. And the idea of obviously what we did on day number 1, that bled right into day number 2. So obviously taking that business assessment, really finding out what it is that you need to get done, going into creating that CEO schedule. Now we can see all of the intricacies that go into running a successful business, right? All the stuff that Nancy went over with you guys yesterday with sales and marketing, operations, systems, all of those things. It could be a lot, but what we're going to do with you today is actually a live demonstration of how you can get things organized. Now, 2 other quick announcements. Number 1, we have 2 more winners that will be announced at the end of today's session. And number 2, we actually have a special announcement about something that you all will have the opportunity to dive into to take everything to the next level. You can call it continuing education. You can call it what you want, but it will be an opportunity for all of you to learn directly from us how to get things going even more. So if, again, the other thing that you need to understand is we can only cover so much during this workshop. That's why we want to leave you guys in a way where if you want more, you're ready for more, we have a way to give you more. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat.
Yeah, but I was going to let you know, we are jam-packing these days, though, so you guys have plenty to work on.
Yep.
And also for anyone who is joining us, who's missed the first day or the second day, the big highlights, day 1 was all about really doing that business assessment and kind of identifying where your bottlenecks are. So just as a reminder, on the replay page, I put all the links that we talked about, right? We talked about, completing the business assessment. It's on there. It's also in your workbook if you like, to do the paper copy. Either way, replay, it's fine. It's really just for you guys. And then the other form that's in there is your hourly rate calculator as well. That's in the replay page.
Yep.
And then yesterday, the big focus obviously was identifying all the things that need to get done and then actually creating a foundational schedule. And so today we're going to dive into another tool, right, to really use to organize your business and really pull everything together.
Also, just remember the replays are available until Sunday at 9 p.m. EST. So you can go back and you can rewatch these. But also remember, there'll be a multitude of emails going out because obviously we have more to go over tomorrow and on Friday. So, you're meeting with us for an hour every day this week. So we still have stuff to cover for tomorrow and on Friday. But again, we really want to leave you with as much as we can. So you do understand that, growing a business is something that we can all do if we have the right things in place. One of the big things that Nancy and I do always talk about is you can't teach someone else to do something if you haven't first done it yourself. And that's where this workshop actually spurred from. We got our business organized from top to bottom, left to right, up and down, where it's a well-oiled machine. And we said, okay, this is something that we can teach others how to do.
And I remember how we felt, and we'll talk about that a little bit, in a little bit, how we felt when we didn't have a handle on our business. And, I call it the patchwork quilt.
Yep.
But we're definitely going to dive into that.
Yep. So again, we have a couple different things to go over. Number one, we have a couple slides to share from part 2 of yesterday, just really quickly, just reiterating, the marketing strategy. And then we're going to dive into, obviously, today, which is getting your business organized. So if you guys are ready to dive in, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. I do have a couple things to jump into.
Yep. And we didn't get to fully wrap up, right? The last part of the training from yesterday. So that's what we're going to be starting with. So for everyone who was on the call yesterday or who watched the replay, we were just starting to talk about your marketing plan for the year. So that's where I wanted to really just dive into today, just to finish off where we left off. So remember, guys, you have this in your workbook, right? So part of that was breaking out, all the different months, mapping out, right, all the major holidays, things happening during that month. If you're planning vacations, content focuses and themes.
And anyone that wants to find the hourly rate calculator, it's on the replay page, not the replay email. So all you have to do is go to the replay email and then click on the replay link, and it's on the main page of all the replays.
Yep. So, and then the next part of that, we just started talking about A-level launches and then B-level launches. So I know that left many probably thinking, what's an A-level launch? I needed an example. So an A-level launch, and this could be for anyone, okay, whether you have products or you have services. And let me just back it up. Yeah, so you guys can see contextually. No. I just want to show kind of what we went over. So this was all about kind of mapping out our year. Okay. So we had started with all the different exercises. Again, this is in your workbook. But anyway, so we talked about at a very high level view, actually mapping things out, right? Making sure that we have a plan in place. All right. So I can't tell you how many people don't even put a plan in place for what they're going to be talking about. Now, the reason why this is so impactful as well and planning these out is that what you're going to be focusing on as far as call to actions, in your content, what kind of content you're going to be creating. You're going to basically know whenever you're really going to lean into certain things. So maybe you want to do podcast episodes and you want to feature things. So this just gives you a really nice view of, when you're going to be doing those things. So examples of A-level launches could be new products or services. You guys could be opening up like a membership. You could be doing a book launch, right? Maybe it's your first book and you want to make a big deal about it.
So just drop a Y or a yes if you have some sort of offering to share, whether it's a product, a service, a good, a course, a membership, a program. Just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. If you have any of those, whether it's one-on-one coaching or consulting, those are all considered A-level launches. So you guys should be preparing something around that when you're going to kind of push it out. Obviously, Nancy, kind of put here brilliantly the months to think about. Obviously, the beginning of the year is a really good time to put something out there because that's when everyone's motivated. April, the end of Q1 going into Q2. And then, from statistically speaking, June, July, and August are kind of tough months. That's the summer months when people are quote unquote busy, traveling, vacations. But also September's a great time because that's when people are kind of winding down from the summer and then winding into Q number 3.
Yeah. And anyone can apply this, right? So maybe you don't have a specific like coaching or consulting package that you're launching. Maybe you are, right? I know Jesse mentioned real estate. You could focus, right? I'm sure there's certain times of the year, right? I know summer months, certain times.
Winter's really tough.
That are really big. And even if you knew maybe 1 month is really slow, maybe that's when you want to really ramp up because maybe everybody else is not.
It's interchangeable.
Yeah, it's interchangeable, but it's really what the core of all of this is you're focusing on one particular thing. And even in real estate, just to give the example, maybe you really want to focus on first-time home buyers, or you want to really kind of narrow down on a certain thing. So anyway, I'm not going to go too in depth because we got a lot to jump into. Example of B-level launches. So these are all the things that are peppered, in all the other months. It could be just focusing on adding subscribers to your podcast, email list building, workshops, featuring your products or services, promoting your webinar. But my whole point is every month you are making an intention, right? You're setting an intention and you're saying, this is what I'm going to be focusing on.
So I want to ask you guys, drop a Y or a yes if you feel that you are kind of flying by the seat of your pants in the sense of your marketing strategy, your planning from what you're putting out there, and you just kind of like you go by when the spirit moves you. You know what? I'm going to talk about this month. The fact of the matter is that is exactly how we were, but people continue to ask us, how does your business continue to grow and scale? Only by working 3 days a week. And it's because we sit down and we plan everything out for the entire year ahead of time. And we used to throw spaghetti at the wall. We used to say, let's do this, let's do that. It doesn't work. So you have to take the time to do this. Building out that marketing strategy and that marketing plan is what's going to allow you to really succeed. So if everybody is clear on that, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And now we're going to jump into day number 3. Which again, we are moving and grooving right along here because now what we're going to do is we are going to put this all together. So what we're going to be talking about today, obviously, is getting organized in your business. Now, this is actually one of the things that Nancy and I love teaching the most. Obviously, the business assessment is great. Your CEO schedule is great. But we know the one differentiating factor between successful businesses and failing businesses is one thing, and that is organizing them. The people that succeed in business are the ones that are organized in their business. The people that end up going out of business, it's most likely they were disorganized. They had no marketing strategy. They had no sales process, right? They had no operations in place. They had no schedule. And the fact of the matter is, the more that you can get things organized, the more of a chance you're going to have to succeed in what you're doing.
Absolutely. So just recapping, right? Yesterday, we went over the weekly schedule. You guys, went through and you thought about all the different things that you need to get done. And you created, right, a core foundational schedule. Now, are things going to pop up? Are you going to have certain meetings? Or things going to, kind of take precedent at certain times? Sure. But it's so important to get that foundational schedule in place so that at certain times what you want to be focusing on. So if you haven't taken time to do that, please make sure you go back and complete that. This is just a quick, really an overview of what a potential schedule could look like. Some people map it out. If you use Google Calendar, for example, I highly recommend you have some kind of electronic calendar, whether it be iCal, Google Calendar, maybe Outlook, so on and so forth. Yeah, there's lots of different ones out there. But the whole purpose is again, this is an example of time blocking, of setting intentions, of actually noting down what you want to get done. Okay, here's an example of mine. This is kind of one of the routines that I used to have. Of course, I've got that personal time blocked off in the morning. I've got my CEO schedule and my projects here. And again, this is really fun. I've even color coded it a little bit. but you can create whatever you want really to help you out. Okay, so this is example of Google Calendar. The other thing that I advise you to do, a lot of times I talk to people, especially some virtual assistants who are kind of struggling with this. It's important to sync your calendars. So if you have multiple calendars, like for example, you might have an iCal, on your iPhone, and you might have a Google Calendar. If you have not done that, and again, for the sake of time, we're not going into that, during this training, but you can go on YouTube, you can go on Google and you can search it, but learn how to sync your calendars because it is going to make sure that everything is included in one place and you don't have like family stuff here and you have work stuff here and you have business stuff here. It should all be on the same calendar.
So if everybody is clear on that so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat, because now we're going to really start digging into the actuality of what it really looks like and what it means to organize your business.
Okay. And a little disclaimer, right? We want to make sure that you guys are open. Okay. Right. That growth mindset. You might be learning something new and you might not be, right? Because we're going to talk about a tool that many people already use. But if you don't use it, I don't want you guys to be scared, right? I want you to go into this with a positive mindset and know that learning something a little new might actually really drastically change you and your business.
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to dig into the number one thing. So Scott said, obviously organization is so incredibly important. But what I need to tell you guys is whenever I did some work as an online business manager, one of the first things that we did with every client that was running around, kind of like crazy, trying to figure things out and get things done. The first thing that we always did with every one of those clients was do what we call dumping out the kitchen drawer and organizing it in a project management tool. Okay. That means we're really reeling everything in and we're being planful and we're getting things on there so that we know what exactly we've got to do. So first, I want to show you, right? This is a little overview of an entrepreneur starting their business online. And this is quite honestly, this is our story as well, right? We're super excited. We are like, oh my gosh, so inspired. We're hitting the ground running. We cannot wait to grow our business. And then what happens? Okay. We start hitting that knowledge block where we're like, I got to learn all this new stuff. Oh my gosh. It also comes with squirrel brain. Okay. It also comes with the inability to focus, right? You're learning a lot of stuff. You're starting at the bottom of a very tall mountain and it can be frustrating. Okay. But what you need is a way to really bring that all together. And like I said before, business is not hard, right? Every single business, small, medium, large, millions of, dollars in revenue to, dollars in revenue, they're all the same,
Yep.
right? They all have the same core functions. So getting them nice and organized, I can't tell you how much this makes me happy. And it feels so much less stressful to run your business when you have a well-oiled machine. Okay. So this is what our business looked like. Okay. Remember I said before it was kind of like a patchwork quilt. It was all over the place. Okay. It was literally Scott and I flying by the seat of our pants. It was, Scott trying to market this program and that program and this program, and it was all over. And then we had sales pages we needed to create. And then we had metrics that we wanted to track, but we didn't have a routine in place.
So we couldn't track them.
So we called it, again, the patchwork quilt. And I remember kind of having that moment and really breaking down and saying, we cannot continue this way. This is madness. Okay.
Well, we were holding ourselves back. We knew that we were meant for more, and we knew that we should be earning more in the business that we had. But it's because we were completely disorganized.
We want to get you guys to a point where you have all the foundations built out so that you can do what we call optimizing, right? That's really where you get to have fun and you get to focus on your sales numbers each month and you get to focus on what's working and you get to make minor tweaks, right? That's when things get really exciting in your business.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very stressed, 1 being little to no, everything is organized, where would you rate yourselves stress level wise of disorganization of your business? Like it's creating stress. So we 8, 9, 5, 8, 9, 4, 7. Yeah. And again, we want to reduce the amount of stress that you guys have and literally have you guys all to 1, like where it's like, I don't want to say easy breezy, but the fact of the matter is that your business shouldn't be stressing you out. You should be having fun. And when you have things organized, it can become more fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there is a better way. I promise you. Okay. So again, after learning, and this was a huge revelation for me, guys, whenever I was working behind the scenes with all these coaches, it was such a big aha moment for me because, of course, right, we're going to be flying around by the seat of our pants. We're going to be unorganized if we don't really reel in and come up with a game plan of what this looks like and what our business should look like and what systems should be in place. Okay. So if you have an online business, it's time, if you don't have one, to get a project management tool.
Yep. So how many of you are familiar with project management tools? Why or yes or N or no? So if you're familiar with project management tools, so we have yeses, good. A couple no's. Okay, awesome. Well, for those that are not familiar with project management tools, you are going to learn firsthand not only what they are, but how you're going to use them.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things about a project management tool is it's a tool that allows you to create reoccurring tasks. It allows you to plan out projects, organize your content, delegate to a team, and more. Okay. That was so huge for us, where in the beginning, we didn't have a big team. In fact, it was mostly just us. And still, I mean, we do a lot of stuff ourselves, but things needed to be organized. We needed to know what was being done, right?
Flow.
You know, I remember actually, and we're going to talk about it shortly. I remember creating a whole project management board for Scott whenever he was getting ready to release his first book. And it was like all this whole checklist of all these things that need to get done. Because if I hadn't done that, or we hadn't done that,
it wouldn't have become
a
bestseller.
Probably wouldn't have gotten done, right? So it's important that we have a place where we can organize all of this. Okay. So I interviewed and I did a survey. In fact, you know, I was just like, all right, guys, let's hear it. But I did a survey in a group online of multiple business managers. And of course, I added in my own thoughts and my expertise as well. And out of everyone that I interviewed, the top responses for their favorite project management tools to use for entrepreneurs who are just getting really everything together in their business. And the three were Trello, Asana, and ClickUp. Okay, so if you guys can type a Y or yes in the chat box if you have heard of any of those. So again, the three responses were Trello, Asana, and ClickUp. Now, each of them has their benefits. Each of them has their drawbacks. The one thing that I really focused on, and especially during this training and even in my own business, guys, again, we like to teach you what we do ourselves. The one that I picked as being right the biggest one and the easiest to use, right, shortest learning curve, the free, right, you know, doesn't cost anything, and you can use it for so many different things. So that is Trello for me. So I also want to do a quick poll here. Have you ever used Trello? Please share in the chat.
Y or yes or N or no?
Yep, Y or yes or N or no. If you have used it on a scale of 0 to 5, how comfortable are you? Right, 5 being heck yeah, 0 being not at all. Okay.
So 1, 4, 2, trying. Yeah.
Excellent.
What I'll tell you is and this is full transparency, I was very resistant to it in the very beginning when Nancy introduced me to it. As she was talking about my first book launch years ago. But after the board was put together and I went through it, and I'm like, man, this is like this. There's no like writing on a piece of paper. I just log on and I slide things over and check things off. And how many of you are familiar with Simon Sinek? Drop a Y or a yes if you are.
Simon Sinek.
So Simon, I remember listening to a podcast that he did, and he was talking about how you can consistently release oxytocin, which is your feel-good brain chemicals. And he said checklists are great for that. And he said he would be, going around town, picking up his laundry, going to the market, and he would forget to write something down. He would write down, he would check it off, and he would feel good.
That dopamine.
Just to get that dopamine and that oxytocin release.
Yeah.
The same thing goes for Trello. You have no idea how good it feels to be able to slide those cards over to the done category, which we're going to show you, because it's done. And you know that when tasks are getting done, your business is moving forward.
Absolutely. So this is a little quick view, and we're going to actually do a little walkthrough using Scott's Trello account shortly. but it's Kanban style. And what that means is you can see here, you can create lists, right? So that's what these are, right? The little, each one is a list. And then within those lists, you can create individual cards. And the cool thing is you can make those cards as robust or as small as you want. You could actually add checklists. You can assign it to people. There's lots of really cool things that you can do in Trello. Now, I personally have used Trello with tons of different types of people, okay, in all different industries. I do not use the paid version.
Free version.
So the only reason why I have ever purchased the paid version is so that I can make templates and make them available to other people, which I've done for a couple programs, one that we're going to talk about obviously today. But that is the only reason why I got the paid version. So with the free version of Trello, and I always tell people as you're signing up, make sure you don't hit free trial, for the premium version or anything. You can do everything with the free version. And again, guys, I like to share as many free or really low cost options because I know all of you have enough that you're paying for. There's enough on your plate. There's no reason to add additional added expenses if you don't need to. Okay. So I use this in my agency to use as a project management tool to help my clients get a big picture overview of content that they are scheduling, right? My Trello board for them is basically weeks, each week for the rest of the year broken down, and all of their content is organized. The other thing that I love so much about Trello is it's visual, right? So you can actually drag and drop images. You can add content. You can do so much. So I've used it with everyone. In fact, I used it one of my local universities. I had actually met with their one department who was promoting a workshop for interns, an internship fair. And I started showing them how we were organizing their content using Trello, and they were so excited. They were like, "Oh my gosh, we're going to use this for everything. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for showing us Trello because we can organize so much." So you really can use it for so many things.
And there's a learning curve for everything. And once you guys learn how to use Trello, again, it is just absolutely brilliant. So we're actually going to take a look. The website that you're going to want to actually look at. Let me just do something really quickly.
42.
Yep. Is Trello.com. Okay. So it's right up here, Trello.com. You can log in with an email. You can, create a username and password, but it's completely free. And again, it is just a brilliant, brilliant tool. So if everyone can see the screen clearly, because Nancy's going to kind of talk me through, just pretend none of this is here. Obviously, these are all things that have been created over the years by Nancy and myself, but we're going to show you kind of like clean slate, what it actually looks like to create a workspace, create a board, create tasks. So if everyone can see this clearly, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. This is where things get fun because there's been so many advancements in the digital age that we're in, getting everyone's business organized, that I absolutely can tell you straight up that I would be lost in our business if it wasn't for Trello. So if you guys can see this, I know I don't know if this is our screen small. Just can you guys see our screen clearly? I mean, these are small, I know that, but can you see the entire screen? Just drop a Y or a yes if you can. Okay, good, perfect. All right, so we're going to go through step by step. So again, what you're going to do is obviously you want to kind of talk it through it, and I'll kind of click.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So what we're going to go through, I think it's super important that you guys know some of the, basics, right? And I told you you were going to learn something new, but we're going to go through this together. The important definitions to know in Trello or in the hierarchy, right, of how things work is that you start with a workspace. Okay. And then underneath that workspace are going to be different boards. So a workspace, and I want to give this example, could be your business. Okay. So that's a whole workspace. It's almost like boom. Okay. You're creating an entire, building. Here we go. Boom. And then within that building, you can have a lot of different things in there. Okay. And with the free version, under one workspace, you can have up to 10 different boards.
Right. So that could be lead gen, social media, marketing. You can create
projects, you could have launches planned out.
You can have boards for everything.
Yeah. Yep, you can have boards, and we're going to give you some ideas for those boards shortly. But first, I'm going to talk Scott through how to go ahead and create his first workspace.
So if you guys are with us so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat, because we're going to walk you through step by step what needs to be done.
And guys, remember, you can watch this replay as well. It will be available. But the one thing that I also wanted to note, we're going to do 2 versions. One is going to be creating a workspace for our business, and then one is going to be creating for a client, right? A sample client to show you how you can actually use it with your clients that you work with. So go ahead and hit create. So you can see that button at the top. And you're going to go to where it says create workspace. And you can see there, it actually says a workspace is a group of boards of people. You use it to organize your company. You can organize your clients, whatever that looks like. So Scott's going to go ahead and type in a workspace name. So it could be Scott's business or Scott Aaron. Yep, Scott Aaron's business, whatever that looks like, right? So workspace type, I usually just click other. The only reason why it asks you that is because it does provide you templates, which I don't use, but you can just hit other. And then you can go ahead and hit continue. Okay. I always just hit skip. I'll do this later. You don't have to invite anyone. That's in case you want to invite someone. Are you guys seeing a flashing screen? Just definitely share. Just want to make sure we're with everyone. I'll do this later. Okay. So when you first,
if you guys can see my screen so far, just drop a Y or a yes. Okay. Perfect.
Got it.
Perfect.
All right. So when you first see it, right, it pops up like this. Scott, if you want to just X out, so it gives you template examples. I haven't really used the templates there. You're going to be able to hit the X up here and you can just clear that out, right? So those are just templates that Trello, you know, basically gives to you as suggestions. We're going to start fresh. Okay. So what we're going to do is go ahead and click create new board. Okay. So like we mentioned, you can create lots of different boards within your workspace. Okay. An example, like Scott said, maybe he wants to create a board to organize his leads. So this could be a CRM board or a lead generation board. And no, to my knowledge, I don't think it costs anything. I mean, I have members added to my boards as well, and I share it and it doesn't cost anything. All right, so Scott can go in, he can even change the background of that board, and then he can go ahead and hit create. All right, and so
if you guys are with us so far, and you can have 10 boards for free. 10
each
workspace.
Yeah, you can have a bunch of workspaces, but you can have 10 boards within that workspace.
Yep.
So for example, if you use up your 10, you could do Scott Aaron's Business Hub part 1 and part 2.
And
if
then
you
have
wanted
another
to,
10.
and have another 10 if you'd like.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the cool thing that I also want to shout out is every Trello board has a URL, right? You can bookmark this. You can return to it later, right? You know, that is the URL and the address that you're going to go to in order to get back to this board, because we don't want you creating one and then forgetting about it and never coming back to it. Okay.
So if you guys are with us so far and everything that we're going over, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Again, we're taking you through step by step of what this looks like, of how to get everything organized.
Yep. So an example of your lead generation board, which is so fun, I like to always have like my dream 100, you know, so I start with kind of listing out, you know, my dream 100. And underneath that dream 100 could be clients that I really, really want to work with. You know, and by adding cards, you can add individuals. So we can add Bob, we can add Joe, we can add, you know, Sarah, whatever, right? And you can add a person to each of those lists. Now, the other cool thing is you can click on each of those cards, right, that we just added, and you can add additional information. You can add, you know, maybe their LinkedIn URL or notes, you know, of, you know, the contact or information that you have, you know, shared so far with them. Now you can hit X. Now the next list, maybe you guys want to create kind of like a sales pipeline. So let's say connected on LinkedIn, right? So go ahead and hit connected on LinkedIn. And the shortcut, guys, to actually create a new list, I'll show you. You can double click and then add the list right there. Or you can just click this button here where it says add another list to add another one.
Yep.
And the cool thing is too, when you're adding cards, you can hit the enter button and it'll just go enter, enter, enter. So there's cool little shortcuts there. But anyway, so you can put connected on LinkedIn. You can, no, it's not. Okay. So next, maybe it's booked a sales call. Okay. Maybe after is sent contract. And then maybe you just hit no, to have one for no or not a good fit. Not interested. Yep. All right. So the cool thing is,
I don't like typos.
oh, really. Yeah, Scott said I don't like typos. I'm like, oh, really? Uh-huh. All right. So you can drag. So let's say you had a conversation with Joe and you connected with him on LinkedIn. Hooray! We can move him over. Okay. Again, that's what we call Kanban style. So we can drag and drop. We can move things around.
And again, as Nancy said, you can kind of like add notes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody is clear so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are clear. So what I typically do is, so like say, Joe is on my Dream 100, right? We met at a networking event, and then I connected with him on LinkedIn. So then I can add a new note, connected on November 1st, right? So I can kind of keep track of where the relationship is.
Yeah, you can even put, let's say you want to follow up with him again at a certain date. You can select the date, the time,
Yep.
Set a due date reminder, and it'll send a notification. You can even assign, right, members. So, of course, Scott is the only member of this board, but that'll make sure that he receives an email and a little notification when he's in Trello as well, to remind him that this needs to get done as far as follow-up.
So I connected with him on LinkedIn, and then we booked a sales call. So I can go back in here and then I can write a comment. Booked a sales call on November 3rd, right? So then again, I know that there was a call booked. I can put a time to it, right? So I can go to dates and I can say, okay, Friday the 3rd at 2 p.m. And then basically I'll get a reminder. And the cool thing is, when you go to dates, you can actually set a due date reminder for yourself. So Trello will send you an email notification letting you know, hey, you got a call coming up in an hour. That way, if there's any follow-up that's needed. And then when you're done it, we can say sent contract info. You can actually go in and hover over where it says November 3rd. And you can put a check mark by due date, and now it's completed. So now obviously you can see the flow of going from a Dream 100 to actually picking up a client. Yep. So if everybody's clear on this so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So that's your lead gen board.
That's just an example. And again, you guys might have another tool, that you use as a lead gen tool, such as a CRM, right, such as a different way that you're tracking leads. That's absolutely fine, because guess what? We can create other types of boards. Okay. So another type of board that you can create is a content board. So, maybe you want to type in Scott Aaron's business board, or you can type social media content board. Okay. And then he's going to go ahead. So I keep wanting to take the mouse. I'm like, yeah. All right. So you can map out. In fact, guys, the easiest way that I have done this is mapping it out week by week, right? So he could put week 1, January, or, if he's planning this out, it could be week 1, December, week 2, December. If you want to hit enter and then just add another one, and you can keep adding, right, all the weeks, for the rest of the year, and even go into the following year if you'd like. Right now, the cool benefit of doing this, why is this so important? Why is this so important for your business? Because I think all of us, right, get very stressed and frustrated when we're trying to plan out our content and we're like, what do I want to talk about this week? And, if we're flying by the seat of our pants, we don't really have a plan in place. But remember that what you guys can do is you can kind of create your own little workflow. So let's say you want to create a weekly workflow, and I'm going to slide this over here, right? There's that list here. Let's say on Mondays, you guys want to share a quote, right? Maybe it's a motivational Monday or something like that. What are you doing? Yep. Okay. However you want to do it. All right. So quote, Tuesday could be educational, right? So it could be, something educational. Wednesday could be a promotional, something to promote your business. Thursday could be a poll question. Again, you guys can theme out your days however you would like. And then maybe on Friday, you share something personal. Maybe it's a win from the week, or, you know, a behind the scenes, or a favorite book, or something awesome. You know, you can do Feel Good Friday. In fact, it was fun. We were working with one of our clients yesterday. He's got a really cool business, and we were talking about some fun things. Now, he works in the real estate world. And so we were talking about some fun ways that you can actually break out your days. And some of it's like behind the scenes. So he could actually do some filming of behind the scenes, what it looks like in his car, like as he's doing, you know, his normal day. He could also give some tips. You know, one of the part of what he does is organization. So we were even joking, like organizing within the house, like how to organize a sock drawer, you know, just all kinds of fun things that you can do with it. So if this is going to be your weekly workflow, right, however you guys want to do it, and you can even add, right, what are additional pieces of content you want to do? Maybe you want to do a newsletter each week. Maybe you want to do a podcast episode, and maybe you want to do like a special video, you know, a featured video, right? So this is your workflow. You can make copies of this list so that you don't have to keep, you know, making duplicates or whatever, but I can hit copy. And I'll show you why this is so cool is we can just drag it over, right? And I can put it under every single week to quickly build that out. Now I've got myself a nice little structure and a place. And again, we're going to archive. So just so you guys know, in Trello, that you don't delete, you archive. So just in case if you make a mistake, you can always go back to it. But you can just click archive and then it'll disappear. So now I know week 1, I can start to plan out what I want to post about. Now I like to also judge mine up a little bit, judge it up. And I kind of have a theme for the week, right? Kind of a topic that I'm really going to lean into. So let's say I'm doing a whole, you know, week kind of filled with the importance of fourth quarter planning. Okay. So maybe this is what I want to theme all my content around. You can put a little topic at the top. Guys, the cool thing about this is it's really the sky is the limit with all the things that you can do. And we're keeping it pretty basic here because you can do additional things like, you know, changing the covers to make things, you know, a little bit more separated and, you know, to organize it. You can put dates specifically, right? So if it's December week 1, okay, what is the specific date?
But we just want to kind of keep it very basic, very streamlined. So if you guys are picking up what we're putting down, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Again, because this is just really, really important. What are you doing?
I was looking for a picture. If we could drag and drop it. I don't know what this is. But yeah, I was going to say, so the other cool thing is, and remember, right, Trello is a place to store everything. It's not a place to.
It's one of my clients' images, but we can use it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's not a place that's going to schedule it for you or anything. Like this is a holding spot. Okay. So again, it's a place for you to kind of plan it all out. And then obviously you can go in and then, you know, schedule everything. So I'm going to show you. Yeah, Scott said this is actually one of his clients, but it's a picture, right? That's saved. I think this is her logo, but I just want to show you guys how it appears, right? Whenever you drag and drop something. So if you guys have created something, let's say in Canva, for example, or any, right? Any kind of JPEG or PNG file, you can drag and drop it. And this is my favorite part, right? It appears. So boom, now we've got a visual of what that content post is going to look like. And then we can add the description of what we're actually going to post in the content here. Like, so happy, you know, blah, 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 blah.
That's where your
and then you can put hashtags, you know, whatever, your call to action, so on and so forth. Okay. So again, how cool would that be? Now you got everything planned out. You got your content created. It's nice and organized. And then, you know, if you have a team and they schedule things, they can, you know.
Yeah. I mean, dragging and dropping is literally, you just grab the, like what Nancy did was, I'm just going to remove this really quickly. All she did is she grabbed this from my desktop. So here, it's right here. So if you guys can see this little box that I'm floating around on the screen, just drop a Y or a yes. So, no, yes. Okay. Yeah. So this is the image right here. I grabbed this from my desktop and all I'm going to do is you see where it says drop file to upload. I'm just going to drop it right in there and it uploaded.
Yep. So and if you want to drag and move around the card, you just click and hold down and you can drag it to wherever you'd like. So let's say this was a business tip you created and you're like, I don't want to talk about that week 1. Let's talk about it week 3. You can drag it right over.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, so it's really, really,
yeah, it's just anytime you guys, like, again, anyone, if you've ever dragged and dropped anything, it's the same thing. Whether you go into a file and drag it to your desktop and then drag it over, it's the same thing.
Yep. So we're going to stop there as far as showing you. We're going to go back to the slides because I want to give you some ideas of different boards that you can create. But again, as a friendly little reminder, guys, part of the reasons why that I love Trello so much is number one, Trello is extremely helpful when planning projects and for those who are on a budget,
So
right?
if you guys can see this screen, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure, because now we're going to give you some ideas. So again, these are some things that you guys can now do with understanding how to use the board.
Yep, absolutely. So, Trello is highly visual. It's got lots of features. It's got lots of things in the free version that you're able to do. It's also great because one thing I didn't show you is what we're talking about on this slide here is the ability to create workspaces for individual clients. Okay. And I say also you can do it for team members. So this is actually a screenshot of, okay, in 2010, right? I had a workspace. Okay. You can see it there. I had a Scott 2020, I'm sorry, 2020 workspace. And this was a team member, right? That was helping him with some projects. So I actually created a board just for her and I had all of her tasks mapped out. Now within that board and each of those little daily tasks, I had certain things that needed to get done. And the cool thing is again, you can make copies of those. You can save them as standard operating procedures, right? Different things that you're going to rinse and repeat. So heaven forbid, which actually this team member, did not continue doing VA services. So we were able to plug someone else into doing these things very simply. Okay. So you can use boards and you can do other things, right? Example could be onboarding. Now you can share the board with other people. So think about your client onboarding experience, for example. You can take it to a whole nother level. And I'm even going to say it like, let's pretend you're a real estate agent and you're working with a new couple that's just looking to buy a house. You can create an onboarding Trello board for them, right? You create the workspace, that's going to be their name. And then under that, you can create an onboarding, or buying your first house board, and you can add them to it. And you can have all the different things that they're going to be going through to make sure that you have all your, everything checked off and good to go, and you can work them through it. So also for service delivery, coaching, client experience, really the sky's the limit. Here's another example. We use it to manage our Facebook groups. So, this is an example. I have a whole workspace actually just for our Facebook communities, but this is an example of LinkedIn leads content. Right. So you can see what that looks like in action, all the different weeks out here with each of the different posts, right? And the pictures on there.
It's just a great way not only to organize your business for you, but if you're a service-based business, you can have all of this set up for your team and everything else that needs to get done.
Yep, absolutely. And, here's an example of our workshop and launch planning. So I have a whole board. It's actually a template. Because remember, when you guys build out a board, you can actually make copies of it and you can move it around into different workspaces. So that onboarding board that you created for clients, you could just create a beautiful looking one with all the videos and fun tips and awesome ways for people to get, on board really quickly, and then just hit duplicate for the next person. So it makes things a lot easier. Okay. So this is an example of a workshop. Here's a program journey, right? So this is actually our expert foundations. I created a Trello board to show people, right, what the journey looks like for expert foundations, right? So it's all the breakout here and how you can kind of use it along in your own journey. Okay. So that is just a really big, of course, there's the sky's the limit here is our point. So you can do it for offer creation, weekly CEO schedules, on and on and on, right? All the different ways that you can use it. Now, I've already shared, right, my favorite ways to use it. I love it. It's, I can't tell you how much it's really helped me be able to help people. But there's only 3 steps that you need to do to get started when you use Trello. Is number 1, sign up for Trello and sign up for the free version. Okay. I don't want to hear that you signed up for the $1 million a year version. Okay. Sign up for the free, make sure there's no free trial that you're signing up for. It's the free version. Okay. You can do so much with it. 2, you're going to create a workspace, right? And that can be as simple as your business name or you. Okay. I know people that create business workspaces and they even have one for their personal life as well. And they map out like different projects, like maybe redoing your basement or something like that with pictures and whatnot. But then, step 3 is create your first board. Okay. And start organizing what needs to get done. You
So-
can use your workbook as well to actually plan out your boards.
So if everybody is clear so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. So we're keeping this very simple, very easy. Signing up, creating your workspace, and creating your board. That is all.
Yep, absolutely. So, the biggest thing that I hear at times for people who do use Trello, sometimes they're like, oh, but I forgot where it is, so I don't use it, right? So we're going to discuss some of those hacks tomorrow of ways that you can really save it and make sure it's top of mind. But we're going to dig into that a little bit more tomorrow. So again, your homework, okay, is to actually sign up for Trello, create your first board. That's it, right? We want you guys actually getting your hands dirty and getting in there, okay? If it seems scary, that's okay, right? That's called growth, right? We need to lean in a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, what we want to kind of, if you guys have really started to grasp the idea of how important it is to organize your business, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Because here's the thing, if you guys feel, so on a scale of 1 to 10 being completely organized, 1 not organized, even though that's what we're going over this week, still, if the workshop didn't exist, where would you guys rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10? Because again, it's really important. We want all of you to be a 10 in everything that you do. And, James Clear, again, goals are good for setting a direction. Systems are best for making progress. And the fact of the matter is that we need to have systems and processes for our businesses in place. Type in the chat a feeling. How would it feel to have a plug and play system available at your fingertips that we created to get your business organized from top to bottom? Like literally, you don't have to think about it anymore. Basically, we walk you through it. So that's exactly what we actually did create. So go ahead.
Oh,
What's the?
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, so we created that program obviously, and that's what we're talking about this week. But that business assessment that you guys took, that was literally the framework for the course that we built. And so all the things that you answered no to, we made it so that you could answer a yes.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah. So anyway, so on here, the slide, this is actually showing you a Trello board, right? And this is part of our Expert Foundations program. This is a Trello board that I built out that really shows people the journey as they go through and they start to complete things. I've got all kinds of like plug and play resources, all kinds of things. For example, if you guys don't have a client onboarding form, awesome. I have one for you, right? You don't have a welcome guide. Guess what? I've got a Canva template that you can even brand yourself and update. Don't have a service contract or terms and conditions? Awesome. I got you covered, right? So we built this program out to really take the guesswork right out of what you need to do. So that's why, and like Scott mentioned earlier in the week, this week we are launching Expert Foundations for the last time. Obviously this year, and we're only opening the doors
one time a year. So
again.
Next time we're going to be offering this this training program is next November. And the reason why we decided to do it now, and Nancy's going to drop into the chat actually the link of where you guys can sign up. We are doing a little bit of I don't want to say holiday special, but we really want to give you an incentive to join us now as we ramp into 2024, getting your business organized. And why we call it Expert Foundations is because all of you are the experts in the space that you're in. You just need some of the foundations to have in place. And that's why, this is Nancy's baby. It took her a year and a half to build out. And the fact of the matter is, everything that we went over in that business assessment, we have it all built out for you in Expert Foundations. As Nancy mentioned, anything that you need foundationally with where you are in your business, whether you need all of it, some of it, or just a couple things, it is there for you to plug and play. And we're actually there to walk you through it every step of the way, because we've changed this program along the way. And the fact of the matter is that this is the program that will help you get your business foundations in place so you can grow, you can scale, you can outsource.
Absolutely. And I gamified it. So it's built out differently than any of our other programs. And again, this is only, in fact, Scott and I together, our business together is the time to grow. We just have two offers, like two things that we do, right? So we have the foundations program, and then we've got our high level mastermind, right? And so all of our high level mastermind peeps get access, right, to this foundations course. But we wanted to make this available for everyone who might not be ready, right, for that next program, but really wants to get all those things buttoned up, and make sure that you've got all those things and everything on that assessment from a no to a yes, right? We really wanted to do that. And whenever I talk about gamify, I wanted to gamify it. I wanted people earning experience points. I want people getting special celebrations. I want you guys getting reminders if you don't log in, after a certain period of time.
So the way that this is built out is it's a 6-month training experience, and that's what we call it. So because again, we are training you, but you're experiencing what it is to get the foundations of your business in place. That's what it's all about. But we've added some new things, and Irene's on here. She's a current member of our foundations program. We've actually up-leveled how we're actually running this program. It used to be 12 months, you get your login and get through it if you can. And we supported people the best that we could. But what we did is we've actually shortened it to 6 months. Oh, awesome, Joe. Thank you for signing up. We've shortened it to 6 months, and here's why. What we've done is we have built this out where you can literally go through this as quickly or as slowly as you want. But what we're going to do is you have access to the program for 6 months. We're going to be meeting with the group, everyone in Foundations, the second Monday of every month. Just one
first Monday of every month.
The second Monday of every, it's not the first Monday.
Nope, it's the first Monday. It's just the first one we're doing next week.
All right, so I have to redo my entire calendar now because I set it up as the second, but you get the point. The first Monday of every month, we're going to be going over one of the 6 modules. So module 1, right, we're going to be going over on the first month. Module 2, we're going over on the second month, and so on and so on. So if everybody is clear on that flow, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And that's, so we do a monthly group Zoom going over the module that you need to go through in that month. So again, these are the foundations for long-term growth and success, step-by-step processes, templates and resources, routines and organization, plug and play, community, and a proven system. So again, this is just kind of a little overview here. Operations, clear of who you work with. And all these trainings are micro trainings, meaning these trainings are not 90 minutes each. Some of them are like 2 or 3 minutes. We want to get the foundations of your business in place right away. So here's what we're going to do. This is something special. So outside of the monthly group session that we do, right? Oh, thank you, Irene. Irene's one of our current members. So here's something special that we're going to do. For anyone that completes this program in the 6 months that you are allotted. So anyone that signs up now, next Monday, we're doing our onboarding call for all the new people. That begins the program. That is November 13th. So that's the start of the program. You sign up now. You start access right away, but the clock starts ticking on the 13th. You have until May 13th to go through the program. And here's what happens. If you complete it, you get a digital certificate of completion, plus
you can print and put on your social media.
So you can print it out, you can put it on social media, plus you get an additional 6 months of access for free.
For anything you want to go back, you want to access.
So you literally could get a year's worth of access for 6 months just by completing the program. So if you guys are clear on this, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. I just want to make sure. So if you sign up for the program, you complete it in the 6 months that it's paced out for, you get that completion certificate, you get a free 6 month of additional time to go back and go over anything that you want to go over. Plus, I know it gets better. Anyone that completes the course, anyone that completes the program, not only do you get an extra 6 months of access for free, you get a free 30-minute one-on-one session, a 30-minute one-on-one session with myself and Nancy, where we support you with where you are in your business and give you any additional tips, strategy-wise, marketing-wise, content creation-wise, business-wise, of what you need to do. But wait, there's more. But that, I mean, that's it. There's nothing more. That's it. So it's a 6-month program. There is a paid in full special. So if you pay in full, you do get 20% off. We also have a financing option where you can do 6 payments monthly. But again, you complete it in 6 months. You get a free 6 months extra access. And you get that 30-minute bonus call with us.
Absolutely. And, one question that I often get is, what does the time commitment look like for this? Guys, I've had people go through it very quickly, right? Again, we let you go at your own pace, but we have this paced out that if you set aside a couple hours a week, right? And that's for learning and implementation, meaning I've got you covered, right? If you don't have, let's say, an email sequence in place, great, I give you copy so that you can just make it your own and plug it right into place. So it's so incredibly important, that I wanted to make this really quick and easy to apply, right? This is the time that you should be working on your business. So this is for someone who is a part-time, is a full-time, and in 6 months, all the no's from that assessment are yeses. And guys, the whole purpose of that assessment and all the little things that you do, right? And especially these trainings are so that you make more money, so that you're clear and that you're confident running your business, right? How good would that feel? And just also to give full transparency, I built it out that if you were wild and crazy and you wanted to really go wild with this, you could complete it in 48 hours. Okay. And that includes building it out and getting it implemented. Okay.
But what we mean about having it built out, it is built out. Like there's templates, there's resources. And there were a couple bonuses that you were actually going to throw in.
Yeah. There's a couple which we'll feature, but again, the feedback from people who have gone through, I can't tell you how happy it makes me when people say, oh, I feel so much better, or I feel so much more in control. Oh my gosh, this is such a great foundation. And now I know what to use and I feel so confident. Okay. So again, we put so much value into this. And Scott said, it took 1.5 years to make. It actually took like 9 years, honestly, because a lot of this stuff, I had to go through it. We had to learn it. And we had to figure out what was best, but additional included bonuses, right? Tools you need in your business, right? I think a lot of us, right, our heads are spinning by all the things, but we include that. That's part of the training. Tasks to outsource to a virtual assistant. So let's say you guys are eventually there. I use this training still, okay? In the section at the very end about hiring a team member, I print that workbook out for myself anytime I hire a team member, because I have listed out all the different things that you can outsource. It's got all the things. You can create a job description. It's got the onboarding process, but literally I have that all for you. So you can snap your fingers and you now have a process in your business, because that's what we do.
So just drop a Y or a yes if you feel that this 6-month training experience could benefit you and your business, getting it organized, getting it situated, and actually ready to grow. And that's why, again, this is the last time that we are opening the doors to this. For a year, and we don't want to wait for you guys to get things organized, to get things in place.
I also wanted to share, if you guys have ever heard of Marie Forleo's B School, okay, and if you guys have heard of that, type a Y or yes in the chat box. Marie Forleo's B School is more expensive. The feedback generally from that, right, it's a whole kind of foundational course, is that it's very high level and it doesn't really cover the tangible actions, right? It's got a lot of worksheets that you fill out. It's got a lot of suggestions, but it doesn't have a lot of the meat and potatoes. I hired an instructional design expert to go through this course. And by the time she went through it and reviewed it, she was like, oh my gosh, this is what I wish I had, whenever I went and I was looking for this. I wish I had this. And so again, I cannot stress enough how much time, energy, and love, have been put into this. Of course, we have the built out Trello boards, that you can unlock. In fact, they're bonuses as you complete the program. You also, in the first 8 weeks, right, you get Voxer support. Okay. So you can send up to 3 questions a week. In fact, go ahead and send me more. I'm fine with that. But, each week I'll go through and I will respond to any questions you have. And for those who don't know what Voxer is, it is like a walkie-talkie. Okay. It's a really quick and
Simple
easy,
app.
simple app. It's free. In fact, I use it with my team. You can either do a voice message or you can do a text. So it's just like texting. But again, you guys get my Voxer personally. Okay. So up to 8 weeks, you can go through and you can ask any questions. Okay. So it's broken out into obviously the different sections. We start with building out your business hub. So we dive into Trello and all those good things. Then we start focusing on operations, right? Your products, your services, your client experience. Module 3 is all about sales, right? We dig into structuring sales calls. What does your sales process look like? Module 4 dives into marketing. Again, my goal at the end of this is that you guys feel like you have a complete handle on your business. You know how you're bringing in money, you're making money, and you're good to go.
Yep.
So,
and one of the other bonuses for anyone that does sign up by the end of today, you are going to get our launch Trello board. So basically, these are pre-built boards that we share with you, and you make a copy. It's yours, and you use it. Nancy built it out. It's plug and play.
yeah.
So the fact of the matter is that just think about if you feel like your business is disorganized right now. How would it feel to get your business organized? How would it feel to actually have everything built out for you where you can just plug and play? That's what this is. We built this course out. We built this training experience out so you can save money on your business. For this training experience, this program that we have, I mean, I can't even tell you how much people probably would pay for this, but we like to meet people where they are, because our number one goal, why we are in business, is to help more people succeed. And that's why we wanted to make this so available to anyone in any stage of business that you are in. And again, the doors are only open. This is the final time until next November, and the doors are only open until this Sunday. So you have from today until Sunday to sign up. But just remember, there are some bonuses for just signing up. You complete the program, which we help you complete it by jumping on. We have those once a month Zooms. You complete the program in the 6 months that you're given access to. You get that certificate of completion. You get an additional 6 months of access for free, plus a 30-minute strategy call with myself and Nancy. I don't think it gets any better than that. So again, you guys know what your homework is. Sign up for Trello, create your board, create your first task, however you want your workspace, get it all set up. There's going to be a pinned post to the top of the group. It's going to say Nancy's day 3 homework thread, and it's going to say, drop below that you created your Trello account and you created your first board. That is all that you need to do. If everybody is clear on that, drop a Y or a yes in the chat. The other thing that I want to, again, plug in with all of you is if you are overwhelmed, you feel you're disorganized, you're leaving money on the table, and that you could benefit from working closely with us over the next 6 months. So all of everything is gone. For those that are in the program.
Oh no, it was the bonus. It was like a special launch board, but you have tons of Trello boards that I actually put in there. But the early bird bonus was for anyone who signs up today gets our launch board. Yep. So that's the specific one.
Yep. So if anybody does want to check out the pricing, that is the link to do so. There is a paid in full option that's 20% off, or you can finance it over 6 payments if that's easier budget wise. We made it very affordable. Honestly, you're going to be shocked at what the price actually is, because we want to help as many entrepreneurs as possible succeed as much as possible. So again, the doors are open officially now until Sunday. We still have 2 more days of training to go, tomorrow and Friday. So again, the idea, once we get Trello obviously optimized and built, now we're going to start throwing gasoline on the fire. But if you feel that you are ready for more, you would like to work closely with myself and Nancy, and just imagine 6 months from now, your whole business is organized and ready to grow and scale. That is what this program will do.
Well, and even less than 6 months, right? So that's what I'm just saying. Like
we've had people go through this program in literally 30 days and they are off and rocking. Yep. So trust me, it's there for you. We want to help you. There is no, and I promise you, there is nothing out there like what we've created, because we created what we created for ourselves.
What we wish we had.
That's why this is so special. So the two winners from day 2, Paige Human and Laura Johansson. So those are the day 2 winners. Congratulations. There'll be 2 more winners announced tomorrow and on Friday. So again, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for you guys to win more prizes from us. So we hope you enjoyed. Again, if you're on the fence, if you're ready to get your business organized, you're ready to have those foundations in place and not have to go anywhere else to find it, we are here from you. Come join us in Foundations. And again, we are going to throw so anyone that signs up by tonight, you get all of the bonuses that Nancy mentioned, the Trello board. But anyone that signs up between now and Sunday, obviously you qualify for the big bonuses, which is the 6 months of free access, completing the program, and the 30-minute one-on-one session with myself and Nancy for completing it and getting the free additional access. So the link is there. Check it out. Love and gratitude to each and every one of you, and we'll see everyone